Hello, and welcome to West Hill High School for North Star Playmakers' rendition of 12 Angry Jurors. Before we begin, there are a few housekeeping issues to address. First, if you need to use the restroom, they are located in the lobby. Second, in the event of an emergency, there are exits located in the front and rear of the auditorium. Tonight's performance will have a 15-minute intermission, during which time concessions will be on sale in the lobby. And now for today's performance. This powerful play explores themes of justice, prejudice, and the weight of decision-making as 12 jurors deliberate a life or death case. As you watch tonight's performance, we invite you to reflect on the challenges of making decisions based on limited information, the influence of personal biases, and the importance of standing up for what is right. Now, without further ado, join us as we take you into the tense and dramatic world of 12 Angry Jurors.
Murder in the first degree, premeditated homicide, is the most serious charge tried in our criminal courts. You have heard of the long and complex case, ladies and gentlemen, and it is now your duty to sit down and try and separate the facts from the fancy. One man is dead. The life of another is at stake. If there is a reasonable doubt in your minds as to the guilt of the accused, then you must declare him not guilty. If, however, there is no reasonable doubt, then he must be found guilty. Whichever way you decide, the verdict must be unanimous. I urge you to deliberate honestly and thoughtfully. You are faced with a grave responsibility. Thank you.
The jury will retire.
He doesn't stand a chance.
Come to anyone?
Thank you, but no.
Come. You know something?
There are lots of things. I'm in advertising.
You know that.
I never would have known that if you hadn't told me. Oh, will you?
I suppose not. I kind of forgot.
Well, like nowadays, wet.
How much more sweat that kid was dry.
Think at least air conditioned the place.
My taxes are high enough.
As I was saying, I will drop that in court.
Yes, it's hot. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, everybody's here. If you need anything, just knock.
She just locked the door.
Yes, she did.
Who do you think we are, rough?
Well, they locked us up for a little while.
And then they lock up that kid forever, and that's all right, mind you.
I never knew they did that.
Yeah, sure, they locked the door. What did you expect?
I don't know, it just never occurred to me.
Shall we all admit right now that it is hot and humid and our tempers are short?
It's been a pretty hard week.
I feel just fine.
You know, I wonder what's going on down at the office. You know how to do advertising? In 6 days, my job could be gone. And the whole company, too. They aren't gonna like this. Well, maybe this is our duty. I didn't object to doing my duty. I just mentioned I might not have a job by the time I get back.
Ask her to hire you. She looks rich. Good at dress.
Is it custom tailored?
Yes, it is.
I have an uncle who's a tailor.
How does he do?
Not too well, you know. A friend of his that's a friend of my uncle. Well, this friend wanted to win this jury in my place.
Well, why didn't you let him? No one does anything to miss this.
And get a car or something? You know what kind of fine you could pay for anything like that? Anyway, this friend was on a jury once. A case just about like this one. So what happened? They let him off, reasonable doubt. And did you know, 8 years later, they found out that he'd done it anyway? The guilty man of murder was loose down the streets.
Did they get him?
They couldn't.
Why not?
A man can't be held in double jeopardy unless it's a hung jury. They can't try a man twice for the same crime.
Well, that isn't gonna happen here now. Now, is it?
6 days. They should have done it in 2. Talk, talk, talk. There's so much to talk about nothing.
I guess they are entitled.
I guess it's the law. Everyone gets a fair trial. Guess there's nothing you can say much about it.
Hey, how'd you guys like that business about the knife?
Well, look, you gotta expect that you know what you're dealing with.
Yeah, about a switch knife that night.
And then he lost it.
A hole in his pocket.
A hole in his father?
You know, it's an awful way to kill your father. A knife in the chest.
Look at the kind of people they are. You know them.
What's the matter? You got a cold?
A Lulu. Those hot leather colds can kill you.
Yeah, I had one while I was on vacation during summer. The feeling sucks.
I think we should get started.
Yeah, this better be quick. I got tickets to the Yankees game after this. Man, it feels like I'm the only one who hasn't gone this season.
How about sitting down? Gentleman at the window, how about sitting down?
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's tough to figure, isn't it? A kid kills his father. Bing! Just like that. Well, it's the element. Maybe serves him right.
There are better proofs than some emotion you may have. Perhaps a dislike for some group.
Well, we all agreed it was hot now.
And that our tempers would be short.
But this case is open shut. Let's get it done.
That sounds fair. I mean, I'm not going to make any rules. You guys can discuss however you want to. We could discuss first, then vote, or we could vote right now and see how we stand.
Let's vote now. Who knows? Maybe we could all go home.
Yeah, let's see who's where.
Yeah, let's.
All right, let us vote.
All right, is everyone agreed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All those voting guilty, raise your hands. 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, not guilty?
Seriously? Come on.
Hey, do the field!
The vote is 11-1. 11 guilty, 1 not guilty.
Do you really believe he's not guilty?
I don't know. After 6 days, he doesn't know.
In 6 days, I can learn calculus. This is ABC.
I don't believe this is as simple as A, B, C.
I've never seen a guiltier man in my life.
Well, what does a guilty man look like? He's not guilty until we say that he's guilty. Are we to vote on his face?
Look, you sat right in court and heard the same things I did. He's a dangerous killer. You could see it.
Where do you look to see if a man is a killer?
Well,
Really, I'd like to know. Tell me what the facial characteristics of a killer are. Maybe you know something I don't.
Look, what is there about the case that makes you think the boy is innocent?
He's 19 years old.
that's old enough. He stabbed his father 4 inches into the chest, an innocent little 19-year-old.
I agree with you that the boy is guilty, but I think we should try to avoid emotionally colored arguments.
All right. They put it a dozen times in court. Want me to list them?
No.
Do you believe that stupid story he told?
Now.
Do you believe his story?
I don't know whether I believe it or not. Maybe I don't.
So what you vote not guilty for?
Well, there were 11 votes for guilty. It's not so easy for me to raise my hand and send a boy off tonight without talking about it first.
Who says it's easy for me?
Or me.
No one.
Is there something wrong because I
He's-
voted quickly?
He's
Not
just as
necessarily.
guilty, even if it's an easy vote or a hard vote.
You were saying something?
Not necessary.
Look, you could talk for 100 years. Even still, you couldn't change my mind.
Well, I don't want to change her mind.
what are you thinking?
Well, I want to talk for a while. Look, this boy's been kicked around all his life. Living in a slum, his mother dead since he was 9. It's not a very good head start. He's a tough, angry kid. And you know why slum kids get that way? It's because we knock them over the head once a day, every day. I think that maybe you owe him a few words, that's all.
All right. It's hard, sure. It was hard for me. Everything I got, I fought for. I worked my way through college. That was a long time ago, and perhaps you do forget. I fought, yes, but I never killed.
I know what it's like, and I never killed nobody.
I've been kicked around too. Just wait until you work in agency and the big boy who was the advertising officer. We all know.
In my country in Europe, kicking was a science. But let's try to find something better than that.
I don't mind telling you this, mister. We gave that kid a fair trial, didn't we? Do you know how much that trial cost? He should be lucky he got it. Look, we're all adults here. You're not going to tell us how to feel knowing what he is. I have lived among them my entire life. You can't believe a word they say.
I don't know that. What a terrible thing for a man to believe. Since when is dishonesty a group characteristic? You have no monopoly on the truth.
All right, it's not Sunday. We don't need a sermon.
But this man says it's very dangerous.
I don't see any need for arguing like this. I think we ought to be able to behave like ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
Oh, all right, if you insist.
Thank you.
Sure.
If we're going to discuss this case, why, let's discuss the facts.
That's a good point. We have a job to do, so let's do it.
If you ladies and gentlemen don't mind, I'm going to close the window. He was blowing on my neck.
Well, if you don't mind, I'd like to have the window open. Thank you very much.
Blowing on me.
Look, there are 11 of us in this room. It's only one window if you don't mind.
I have some rights too.
Well, so do the rest of
Couldn't
us.
you trade chairs with someone at the other end of the table?
All right, you can open the window if somebody would trade.
All right, fine, you take my chair.
Thank you.
Shall we get back to the case?
Right.
I might have an idea here. I'm just thinking out loud now, but it seems to me that's up to all of us to insist, gentlemen, that we're right and he's wrong. Maybe we could talk for a minute or two, to emphasize. That sounds fair enough.
Very fair.
Suppose we go once around the table. We'll start with you.
Well, I thought the kid was guilty. I thought it was pretty obvious.
Well, how is it obvious?
Well, look at this. No one proved otherwise.
Nobody has to prove otherwise. It's innocent until proven guilty. The burden of proof is on the prosecution. The defendant doesn't have to open his mouth. It's in the Constitution, the Fifth Amendment. You've heard of it?
Everyone has.
Oh, yeah, sure, but I just think the guy's guilty, okay?
No reasons, just guilty. There was a life at stake here.
Whatever.
All right, let's get to the facts. First, why don't we talk about the old man who lives on the second floor of the apartment underneath the room of where the murder took place. At 10 minutes after 12, he said he heard loud noises, said it sounded like a fight. He heard the boy yell to his father, "I'm gonna kill you." A second later, heard the father's body fall and ran to the doors of his apartment and saw the kid running down the stairs and out of the house. Later, he called the police and they found the father with a knife in his chest.
And later that night, the coroner fixed the time of death at around midnight.
Right, so what else do you want?
It doesn't seem to fit.
The boy's entire story is flimsy. He claimed he was at the movies. That's a little ridiculous, isn't it? He couldn't even remember what picture he saw.
Right. You hear that? You're absolutely right.
And he didn't have any ticket stub.
Well, who keeps a ticket stub at movies?
That's true enough.
I suppose, but the cashier didn't even remember him.
And the ticket taker didn't either.
Look, what about the woman across the street? If her testimony don't prove it, then nothing does.
That's right. She saw the killing, didn't she?
I believe that's a
Let's go in order.
Just a second, please. Here's a woman lying in bed. Because it's hot. She can't sleep, Anyway, she goes up to the window, looks out, and across the street she sees the boy stick the knife into his father.
Well, how can she really be sure it was the kid when when she saw through the windows of a passing elevator train.
She'd known him all his life. They've lived directly opposite each other across the L tracks, and she swore she saw him do it.
I heard her swear to it.
And they proved in court that you can see through the windows of a passing elevated train at night and across it and see through to the other side. They proved it.
Well, weren't you telling us just a minute or two ago that you can't trust them? You can't believe them?
So?
Let me ask you something. How come you believed her? She's one of them too, isn't she?
Well, you're a smart fellow, aren't you?
Let's calm down now.
All right. Sit down. What are you letting me get you all upset for? Relax.
Ladies and gentlemen, they did take us out to the woman's room and we looked through the windows of a passing L train, didn't we?
That's right, we did.
And weren't you able to see what happened on the other side?
I didn't see as well as they told me I would see, but I did see what happened on the other side.
Do you see? Do you see?
What about you? I'll pass it. That's your privilege. How about you?
Oh, well. I don't know. I started to be convinced, with the testimony from those people across the hall. Didn't they say something about an argument between the father and the boy around 7 o'clock that night? I mean, I can be wrong.
I think it was 8 o'clock, not 7.
That's right, 8 o'clock.
They heard the father hit the boy twice and then saw the boy walk angrily out of the house.
Right.
Well, what does that prove?
It doesn't exactly prove anything. It's just part of the picture. I didn't say it proved anything.
Anything else?
No.
I'll be honest, guys. I think we're just wasting our time. Let's go home.
Well, I don't.
Neither do I. Go on.
Right. Well, let's look at the kid's record, first of all. Let's see. He's been arrested for mugging. He stole a car. I didn't think they said he stabbed somebody in the arm.
They did.
He was in reform school at 15 for knife fighting.
And he was sent to reform school for stabbing somebody.
This is a very fine boy, guys.
Well, ever since he was 5 years old, his father beat him up regularly. He used his fists.
You blame him? So would I. A kid like that.
You're right. The kids, they don't listen. I had a kid. When he was 8 years old, he ran away from a fight. When I saw him, I was so ashamed. I told him right out, I'm gonna make a man out of you, or bust you into little pieces trying. When you're 15, punch me in the face. I haven't seen him for 3 years. Wrong kids. I hate tough kids. You work your heart out and... All right. Let's get on with it.
We're missing the point here. This boy, let's say he's a product of a filthy neighborhood and a broken home. We can't help that. We're not here to go into the reasons why slums are breeding grounds for criminals. They are. I know it, so do you. The children who come out of slum backgrounds are potential menaces to society.
You said it there. I don't want any part of them, believe me.
I've lived in a slum all my life.
Now, wait a second.
I used to play in a backyard that was filled with garbage. Maybe, just maybe, it still smells on me. Now let's be reasonable. There's nothing personal. There is something personal!
All right, lady. She didn't mean you. Let's not be so sensitive.
Well, who did she?
I can understand the sensitivity.
Let's stop the bickering. We're wasting time. How about you?
Ah, all right. I've had a peculiar feeling about this trial. Somehow, I felt the defense counsel never conducted a thorough enough cross-examination. Too many questions just left unasked.
While it doesn't change my opinion about the guilt of the kid, still, I agree with you that the defense counsel was bound.
So,
This is a point.
what about the facts?
So many questions were never answered.
What about the questions that were answered? For instance, why don't we talk about that itty-bitty switch knife? The one that the kid admitted on buying?
All right, let's talk about it. Let's get it in here and look at it. I'd like to see it again, Madam Coleman. Please.
We all know what it looks like. I don't see why we have to look at it again. What do you say?
The gentleman has a right to see exhibits and evidence. knife is a pretty strong piece of evidence, don't you agree?
I do.
Now, let's get the sequence of events right as they relate to the switch knife.
Lloyd admits coming out of his house at 8 o'clock after being slapped by his father.
Or punched.
Or punched. He went to a neighborhood store and bought a switch knife. The storekeeper was arrested the following day when he admitted selling it to the boy.
We all agree that it's quite an unusual knife. Pretty hard to forget something like that.
The storekeeper identified the knife and said it was the only one of its kind he had in stock. Why did the boy get it?
It's a present for his friend, he says.
Am I right so far?
You're right.
You bet she's right. Now I want you guys to listen to this lady. She knows what she's talking about.
Next, the boy claims that on the way home, the knife must have fallen through a hole in his coat pocket, then he never saw it again. Now there's a story, ladies and gentlemen. You know what actually happened. The boy took the knife home, and a few hours later stabbed his father with it, and even remembered to wipe off the fingerprints. Everyone connected with the case identified this knife. Now, are you trying to tell me someone picked it up off the street and went up to the boy's house and stabbed his father with it just to be amusing?
No. I'm saying that it's possible the boy lost the knife and that someone else stabbed his father with a similar knife. It's possible.
It's possible. Take a look at that knife. It's a very strange knife. I've never seen one like it before in my life. Neither had the storekeeper who sold it to him. Aren't you trying to make us accept a pretty incredible coincidence?
Not trying to make anyone accept it. I'm just saying it's possible.
And I'm saying it's not possible.
But
What?
Hey, just what are you doing?
I'm saying right.
Look at it, it's
Where
the
I
same
got it.
knife.
Quiet, where did you get it?
I got it at a little junk shop around the corner from the boy's house, and it cost me $2.
Now you listen to me.
All right, I'm listening.
You pulled a real smart trick here, but you moved absolute zero. So what if there's 10 knives like it? So what?
Well, maybe there are.
The boy lied and you know it.
And maybe he didn't lie. Maybe he did lose the knife. Maybe he did go to the movies. Maybe the reason that no one saw him was because he sneaked into the movies. I mean, he was ashamed. Is there anyone here who didn't sneak in the movies once or twice as a kid?
I didn't.
Really? Not even once?
We didn't have movies.
Oh.
Maybe he lied, and maybe he didn't. Do you think he lied?
Do I think he lied? Yes, of course, he lied.
And you, do you think he lied?
You don't have to ask me that. You know my answer. He lied.
What do you think?
I don't know.
Well, hey, look, what do you think you're doing here, buddy? Look, you're alone. There are 11 of us who think he's guilty. What are you trying to accomplish here? You want to be stubborn and hang this jury? The kid will be tried again, sure as he's born.
You're probably right.
So what? We can be here all night.
It's only one night. A boy may die.
Come on now, who cares?
Well, yes, that's true.
I think we ought to get on with it now.
Right, let's continue.
Well, you obviously don't think the boy's guilty.
I have a doubt in my mind.
But you haven't really presented anything to us that makes it possible for us to understand your doubt. There's the old man downstairs. He heard it. He heard the kid shriek it out.
And the woman across the L track, she saw it.
No, he bought a switch knife that night, and we don't really know where he was, guys. At the movies, come on.
Later that night, the kid and his father did have a fight.
He's been a violent kid all the way, and while that doesn't prove anything,
Still, you know.
I want to call for a vote. I want you 11 people to vote by secret ballot. I'll abstain. If there are still 11 votes for guilty, I won't stand alone. We'll take in a guilty verdict right now.
All right, is everyone agreed? I certainly am. Let's roll it.
Probably this is best.
Here you go.
All right. Guilty, Guilty. 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 Guilty.
That's 6.
Please, 6 guilty. 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 Not guilty. Guilty.
Would you look at that? Who changed their vote? Want to know? Who?
All right, now which one of you idiots changed their vote?
Is that the way to talk about a man's life?
Whose lives are you talking about? The life of a dead man or the life of a murderer?
Yeah, I want to know. Speak up. Who changed their vote?
I want to know too.
Please, this was a secret ballot.
Nobody looked while we did it, but now I want to know.
A secret ballot. We agreed on this. If the person wants to remain a secret.
What do you mean secret? There are no secrets here. Well, I know who did it. What's the matter with you? You come in here and vote guilty and some slick preacher tears your heart out about some kid who couldn't help becoming a murderer. So then you change your vote. If that is the most sickening...
I agree with you that the man is guilty, but let's be fair.
Hold it, be fair, that's just what I'm saying. We're trying to put a man in a chair where he belongs, and all of a sudden, we're listening to fairy tales.
Now, just a minute.
Now let me tell you why this kid's a dangerous murderer.
Let's try to keep this organized.
It isn't organized, but let's try to be civilized.
Please, if I may say something here. I always thought that a person had the right to have unpopular opinions in this country. This is why I came here. I wanted to have the right to disagree.
Do you disagree with us?
Usually I would. In this one case, I agree with you. But the point I'm trying to make is that in my country, I'm ashamed.
Oh, come on. What are we to do? Listen to the whole history of your country?
It's always wise to bear in mind what has happened in other countries when people aren't allowed to disagree. But we are, so let's stick to the subject.
Yeah, let's stick to the subject. Why'd you change your vote?
Why do you think I changed my vote?
Because I do. Now get on with it. Speak up.
She didn't change her vote. I did. I was gonna tell you guys, but you were so sure of yourselves. Maybe you'd like to know why.
Yes.
This gentleman chose not to stand alone against us. That's his right. It's a very brave thing to stand alone, even if you believe in something very strongly. He gambled for support, and I gave it to him. He left the verdict up to us. It's 10-2.
All right. If your speech is over, we can go on now.
Buddy.
Oh, thank you.
If there was anything in the kid's favor, I'd vote not guilty.
I don't see what it is.
Neither do I. They're clutching at straws.
As guilty as he gets, that's good, I suppose.
It's that one juror that's holding out. But he'll come around, he's got to. And fundamentally, he's a very reasonable man.
I guess so. I don't know.
They haven't come up with one real fact yet to back up a not guilty verdict.
It's art, you know?
Yes, it is. I mean, what does guilty beyond a reasonable doubt really mean?
What's a reasonable doubt?
Exactly. When a life's at stake, what is a reasonable doubt? You've got to have law and order. You've got to draw the line somewhere. If you don't, everyone would start knifing people.
Sorry. I mean, let's just say there's not much doubt here.
Two people think so. I wonder why. I really wonder why.
Have you heard those stories about people who go to jail, sometimes get executed, and then a few years later things start up?
And on the other hand, some killers get turned loose and they go and do it again. They squeeze out of some technicality and kill again.
Hey, buddy. Now that we kind of cooled off a little bit, see, I was just a little excited a minute ago. I didn't mean to get nasty. Nothing personal?
Okay.
Hey, look, tell me this. If the kid didn't kill him, who did?
Well, as far as I know, we're supposed to decide whether or not the kid on trial is guilty. We're not concerned with anyone else's motives here.
Suppose, but who else had a motive?
Well, the kid's father was a logging years. Maybe he got an old grudge.
Remember, it's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. This is
It's an important thing to remember.
Alright, now everybody's a lawyer. Supposing you explain to us what your reasonable doubts are.
It's just a feeling I have. A feeling perhaps you don't understand.
No, I do not.
A feeling? What are we to do all night? Talk about our feelings? What about the facts?
Look, you said a mouthful back there. The old man heard the boy yell to his father, "I'm gonna kill you." Second later, heard the father's body fall and saw the kid running down the stairs and out of the house 15 seconds after that.
That's right. And let's not forget the woman across the street. She looked into the open window and saw the boy stab his father. She saw it.
Now, if that isn't enough for you,
Something doesn't fit.
What is enough for you? I'd like to know.
You're like this guy. It's like talking to a dead phone.
The woman saw the killing through the windows of a moving elevated train. The train had 5 cars, and she saw it through the windows of the last 2 cars. She remembers the most insignificant details.
now what do you say about that?
I don't know. Something doesn't fit.
Well, supposing you think over it. Here, let me your pencil. Play some tic-tac-toe. Might as well pass the time.
This isn't a game.
Hey, now wait a minute!
This is a man's life.
Who do you think you are?
Now, please, I don't want any fights in here.
I'm a right mind to knock some sense into you.
Come on, I don't need anything.
You see, I'm the nerd, the absolute nerd.
Hey, how about sitting down?
That's in a game. Who do you think he is?
Weren't we talking about elevated trains?
Yes, we were.
So?
All right. How long does it take an L train going at top speed to pass a given point?
What does that got to do with anything?
How long would it take? Yes.
I wouldn't have the slightest idea.
I don't think they mentioned it.
What do you think?
About 10 or 12 seconds, maybe?
Sounds like a fair guess. Anyone else?
I would think about 10 seconds perhaps.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
All right, 10 seconds. We're agreed. What are you getting at?
An L train passes a given point in 10 seconds. That given point is the window of the room in which the killing took place. You can almost reach out of that window, touch the L, right?
That's right, I tried it.
So?
Has anyone here ever lived next to the L tracks?
I've lived close to them.
I used to live right by them. They make a lot of noise, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
When your window's open, the train goes by, the noise, it's unbearable. You can't hear yourself think.
Okay, you can't hear yourself think. Get to the point.
The old man who lived downstairs, he heard the boy say,
He didn't say it, he screamed it.
He heard the boy scream, "I'm gonna kill you." Then 1 second later, he heard the body fall. 1 second, right?
Yes, that's right.
Now the woman across the street, she said she saw the killing through the last 2 cars of the L train, right?
Right. So?
The last 2 cars, the last 2.
What are you giving us here?
An L train passes a given point in 10 seconds, or 2 seconds per car. That L had to have been going by the old man's window for at least 6 seconds, maybe more, before the body fell, according to the woman. The old man couldn't have possibly heard the boy say, "I'm gonna kill you," with the front of the L roaring past his nose.
What do you mean? Sure he could have heard it.
With an L train going by,
You said the boy yelled it out.
an L train makes a lot of noise.
Well, it's enough for me.
It's enough for me, too.
I don't think you could have heard it.
What do you mean? Are you trying to call the old man a liar?
I mean, potentially, yeah, maybe the old man did hear, with all the elbows.
Why would the old man lie? What was he got to gain?
Attention? Maybe?
You keep coming up with these bright sayings. Why don't you send them to the newspaper? They pay $2.
Come on. Hey, why might the old man have lied? You have a right to be heard.
It's just... I stared at him for a very long time. The seam under his jacket was split under his arm. Did you notice that? This old man carried 2 canes. I think I know better than anyone else here. This is a quiet, frightened, insignificant old man who has been nothing all his life, who hasn't been known after this so it could be important? No, it's not that he would have lied, but he would have made himself believe he heard those words and recognized the boy's face.
Well, isn't that the most fantastic story I ever heard? How could you make up a thing like that?
I'm not making it up.
Well, you must be making it up. You don't just lie about things like that.
He made himself believe he was telling the truth.
And what do you know about it?
I speak from experience. I'm the same person.
What are you talking
Oh,
about,
save
lady?
it. I think we all understand now. Thank you.
Well, if you're admitting that you're a liar, it's all right by me.
All right, that is too much.
She just told us so. She's a liar.
She did not say she was a liar. She was explaining.
Sorry, didn't you just admit that you're a liar?
Please, she was trying to explain the circumstances so we could understand why the old man might have lied. There's a difference.
A liar is a liar. That's all there is to it.
Have some compassion.
Is there anything else?
Yes, actually. Does anyone want a cough drop?
No, thank you.
Anyone?
I think we should get started.
Now hold on a second. This guy wants a cough drop.
Take the wind off your face. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Now, I think it's true that the old man couldn't have heard the voice say, "I'm your kid."
I disagree.
Let's hear him through anyway.
But supposing the old man really did hear the boy say, "I'm gonna kill you." This phrase, how many times has each of us used it? Probably hundreds. You know, if you do that once more, Junior, I'm gonna murder you. Come on, Rocky, kill him. We say it every day, and it doesn't really mean we're gonna murder someone.
Don't the circumstances alter that somewhat?
The old man was murdered.
One thing more, the phrase "I'm gonna kill you" and the boy yelling at the top of his lungs.
That's the way I understand it.
Now don't try and tell me he didn't mean it. Anybody says it the way he says it means it.
And how they mean it?
Well, do you really think that this kid would yell out something like that for the whole neighborhood to hear? I don't think so. He is much too bright for that.
Right? He's a common, ignorant Slav. He don't even speak good English.
He doesn't even speak good English.
The boy is clever enough.
I would like to change my vote to not guilty. Are you sure? Yes, I'm sure. The vote is 9-3 in favor of guilty.
I would like to know why you changed your vote.
I believe there's a doubt.
Where? Where's the doubt?
There's the knife.
Fine.
Go on, give us the reasons.
The old man too. Maybe the old man did lie, or just maybe the old man didn't. Maybe the old man doesn't even like the kid.
Well, if that isn't the end.
I believe there's a reasonable doubt.
What are you basing it off of? Stories that this guy made up? Look, he had to write for Amazing Detective Monthly. He made a fortune. Listen, the kid had a lawyer, didn't he? Why did the lawyer bring up any of these excellent points?
Lawyers can think of everything.
Oh yes, and the old man lied about a thing like this only so he could be important? And now we're supposed to believe that the old man didn't get out of bed, run down the hallway 15 seconds after the killing, and saw the boy book it down the stairs. He confessed to it on the stand.
That's the testimony, I believe.
Did the old man say he ran to the door?
Ran walked, what's the difference? He got there.
I don't remember what he said, but I don't see how he could run.
He said he went. I remember it now. He went from his bedroom to the front door. That's enough, isn't it?
Now, where was his bedroom again?
Down the hall somewhere.
Down the hall, somewhere. Are we to send a boy off to die because it's down the hall somewhere?
I thought you remembered that. Don't you remember everything?
No, I don't.
I don't either.
Madam Foreman, I'd like to take a look at the diary.
Why don't we have them run the entire trial over again? Get everything straight for you.
Do you know where the bedroom was? Do you know? Please, a boy's life is at stake. Do you know?
Yeah, it was,
Madam Foreman?
I heard you.
Thank you.
Alright, now what's this one for? How come you're the only person wanting to see all the exhibits all the time?
Yeah, I want to see this one too. I do too.
Then I want to quit wasting time.
Are we going to start wading through all that nonsense about where the body was found?
No. We're gonna find out how a man who's had 2 strokes in the past 3 years and walks with a pair of canes can get to his front door in 15 seconds.
He said 20 seconds.
He said 15. He was very positive about it.
Yeah. It was
How do you
15
know how long
seconds.
15 seconds is? You can't judge that kind of thing.
I don't know. He was positive about 15 seconds.
He's an old man. You saw it. Half the time he was confused. How could he be positive about anything? Well, you know.
No, I don't. Maybe you know. What's that time? Fairness?
Wake me up when this is over. I looked at that diagram for 2 hours. Enough is enough.
Some of us are interested.
Is this what you wanted? Yes, that's right. Sure, it's my job.
Go away. All right. Now, this is the apartment in which the killing took place. The old man's apartment was directly beneath it and exactly the same. There are the L tracks. Here's a bedroom, living room, there's a bathroom, kitchen. Here's his bedroom door. Here's the hall. This is the front door of the apartment, and these are the steps. Now, the old man was lying in bed in this room. He got up, went out into the hall, walked down the hall, and opened the front door. All in time to see the boy running down the stairs, right?
That's the story.
That's what happened.
His bed's up at the window, and it's about 12 feet from his bedroom door. Length of the hall is 43 feet. Now, the old man had to get up out of bed, grab his canes, walk 12 feet, open his bedroom door, walk 43 feet, and open his front door. All in 15 seconds. Do you think this is possible?
You know it's possible.
I don't see why not.
The old man could only walk very slowly. They had to help him into the witness chair.
You make it sound like it's a long walk. It's not.
For an old man with 2 canes, it's a long walk.
Hey, now what are you doing?
Well, I want to try this thing. Let's see how long it took. I'll pace out 12 feet, the length of the bed.
You can't just recreate a thing like that.
Perhaps if we could see it, it is an important point.
It's a ridiculous waste of time.
Let's let him do it.
All right, hand me that chair, please. Now, this is the bedroom door. How far would you say it is from here to the door of this room?
I'd say that was 20 feet. Yeah, about 20-ish feet.
All right, 20 feet's close enough. So from here to the door and back, that's about 40 feet. That's less than the length of the hall the old man had to walk through, right?
A few feet, maybe.
Look, this is absolutely insane. What makes you think you can do this?
We can't stop him.
According to you, it should only take 15 seconds. We can spare that. Now, is there anyone here with a watch with a second hand?
Yes, I do.
All right. Stamp your foot when you want me to start. That could be the body fall.
All right, I'll tell you.
Now, let's say the old man kept his canes at his bedside, right?
Right.
All right. I'm ready.
Just wait for the hand to get 60, and there.
Come on, speed it up. He walked twice as fast as that.
This is, I think, even more quickly than the old man walked in the courtroom.
No, it isn't.
You want me to go faster? I will.
Speed it up a little.
All right, stop.
You're not gonna believe this one. About 39 seconds.
Now this is right.
This can't be!
39 seconds.
Right
Now
there.
that's interesting.
Got a fast watch.
39 seconds.
And the old cripple swore on his oath that it was 15.
He may have been a bit off on the speed, but the old cripple was 24 seconds off. I mean,
Far be it for me to call anyone a liar, even allowing quite a difference in speed between you and the old man. There still seems there's quite a discrepancy.
It's my guess the old man was going down the hall, heard somebody running down the stairs, and he assumed that it was the boy.
I think that's possible.
Assume? Well, look, I heard all kinds of dishonesty over my years, but this little display takes the cake.
What dishonesty?
Tell him! You come in here talking about some slum kids and some dishonesty and injustice, and you got all these soft-hearted old ladies listening to you. Well, I'm not. I'm just about done with you. What's the matter with you people? The boy's guilty. He's got to burn. We're letting him slip through our fingers.
Our fingers. Use executioner.
Well, I'm one of them.
Oh, perhaps you'd like to pull the switch.
For this kid, you better like to pull a switch.
I'm sorry for you.
Don't start with me.
What it must feel like to want to pull the switch.
Shut up.
You're a sadist.
Shut up.
You want to see this boy die because you personally want it, not because of any of the facts. You are a beast. You disgust me.
Shut up! Get off me! I'll kill you! I'll kill you!
You didn't really mean you were going to kill me, did you?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I heard some noise. Yes, everything is all right. We're finished. You can take that back.
What are you looking at?
I don't see why we have to behave like children here.
That's right. We have a responsibility. This is the remarkable thing about democracy, that we are, what is the word? Notified. That we are notified by mail to come down here and decide on the guilt or innocence of a man we have not known before. We have nothing to gain or lose by our verdict. This is what makes us strong. We should not make it personal.
Thank you.
Why do you think me?
It's nice to be reminded.
I'm glad that we're going to be civilized about this. But we're still nowhere.
No. We're somewhere. We're getting there, maybe.
Maybe. Who's got an idea?
I think we should try another go. Madam Foreman?
That sounds fair. Is everyone agreed? Let's vote. Yes, vote.
Yeah.
I want an open ballot. Let's call our votes. I want to see who stands where.
All right. Anyone object? Okay. I vote guilty. 2,
Not guilty.
3,
Guilty.
4, guilty. 5, not guilty. 6,
Not guilty.
7,
Guilty.
8,
Not guilty.
9,
Not guilty.
10,
Guilty.
11,
Not guilty.
12. Guilty?
That's 6 to 6.
I'll tell you something. The crime is being committed right in this very room.
The vote is 6 to 6.
Look, I'm about ready to walk right into court and declare a hung jury. There's no point in this going on anymore.
I'd like to know why you changed your mind, and why you changed your mind, and why you did. There are 6 people here who think that we may be turning a murderer loose in the streets. Emotion won't do. Why?
It would seem that the old man did not see the boy run downstairs. I don't think it likely that the old man would have heard the boy scream, "I'm going to kill you." Old men dream, and if the boy did scream that he was going to kill, then we have the authority of this man to prove that it might not really mean that he's going to kill.
Anyone have anything they want to say?
Listen, why don't we take this into the judge? Let 12 other guys deal with it.
What I'm saying.
Well, we're a hung jury. We can't even decide on anything.
Well, it's got to be unanimous, so we're never going to convince this guy.
Well, at the start, I was alone. Now 5 others agree. There is a doubt.
You're never going to convince me that there is a doubt, because I know that there isn't no doubt.
Let's tell you what. Maybe we are a hung jury. It happens sometimes.
We're not going to be a hung jury.
Happens.
So look at us, right now. A perfect balance. Let's take it into the judge.
If there is a reasonable doubt, I don't see it.
The doubt is there in my mind.
Maybe we should vote.
What do you mean vote?
Not again.
I'm sorry, vote on what?
If we are or aren't a hung jury.
So we vote either yes, we are a hung jury, or no, we're not a hung jury.
That's what I'm thinking. Let's make a majority vote. The majority wins.
If 7 or more of us vote yes that we are a hung jury, then we take it into the judge and tell him that we're a hung jury.
Right. And if 7 or more people vote no, then we aren't a hung jury, and we go on discussing it.
It doesn't seem quite right.
So our only solution is call our vote.
It's the only way.
Anything to end this? All right. Is everyone agreed? 7 or more vote yes, then we are a hung jury, and we take it to the judge. All right. I vote that we're a hung jury. 2,
I say we're not.
3,
We're a hung jury.
4,
Yes.
5,
No.
6,
No.
7,
Yes.
8,
No.
9,
No.
10,
Yes.
11,
No.
12.
Yes?
The vote is 6 to 6.
We can't even get a majority to decide whether or not we're a hung jury or not.
I went along with the majority vote on this question, and I didn't agree with voting that way. Not really. And I still don't. So I'm changing my vote. I say no, we are not a hung jury. I believe the boy is guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And there are some things I want to find out from those people that change their minds.
Okay, great. You're in a hung jury, so we go on.
Good. We go on.
Why did you change your mind?
Oh, well, here's why. You see, he always seems so sure, and he's made a number of excellent points. Well, this guy just gets mad and insults everyone. It's
Does the anger and the insult change the guilt of the kid? He did do it. Are you going to turn a murderer loose because one of the jurors gets angry when he thinks a murderer is being turned loose?
Yeah, that's true.
There is a doubt. I don't think so. The track is straight in front of the window. Let's take that point. So the L train would have made a low rumbling noise. L trains screech when they go around curves. So the old man could have heard a scream, which is high pitched. And it is a tenement, and they have thin walls.
Good. Good. That's it. That's it.
And what if the old man was wrong about the time it took him to get to the door, but right about whom he saw? Please remember that there weren't any fingerprints on the knife, and it is summer, so gloves seem unlikely.
Now, I want you guys to listen to this lady. She got the goods.
And it might have taken a few seconds to get a handkerchief out and wipe the fingerprints away.
Yeah, this is the point. Why don't we just time this one to see?
Just what are we timing?
Yes, let's be exact.
I'm saying that the old man downstairs may have been wrong about how long it took him to get to the door, but right about whom he saw running down the stairs. Now, the murderer might have taken 39 seconds to wipe all the fingerprints away and get downstairs to the place where the old man saw him. The boy, that is.
We reconstructed the old man getting out of bed and going to the door. We timed that, so now let's reconstruct the actual crime.
Reconstruct it the best we can.
Yeah. I think a murderer can use up 30 or 40 seconds pretty easily at that point.
Let's reconstruct the killer.
Here. You do staff.
No, I'll do it.
All right. Why don't you be the one that gets stabbed? You're younger than I am.
Sure.
And don't forget, you take 1 second to fall.
All right.
And he was found on his side, his right side. So fall and roll onto your right side. If someone hates another person enough to kill them, don't you think it's reasonable to suppose that the murderer would look at his victim for a second or two?
Divorce yourself in this particular case. It's human nature.
Yes, it seems reasonable.
He fell on his right side. The father. Stabbing somebody isn't like shooting them, even if it's in the heart. He would have worked around a little bit, on the floor, writing maybe.
That's also quite possible. There would have been enough oxygen in the system to carry him for 2 or 3 seconds, I should think.
Wouldn't the father have cried out?
Maybe the boy covered his mouth.
That also seems possible.
Also, there's another point we might bring out. Anyone who is clear enough mentally to wipe the fingerprints away after murdering someone, well, that person is also clear enough mentally to look around the apartment, or the room in this case, to see if there are any other clues. It would just be for a second or two, but still, he would look around.
About this on the fingerprints. The boy must have wiped the fingerprints off the knife, but what about the doorknob? If I saw a man coming into my home, a man that hated me, and wiping the doorknob with the handkerchief as he came in, it would give me an uneasy feeling. So the boy must have wiped the fingerprints off with the knife and the doorknob, and this too would take some time.
You timed the last one, why don't you time this one too?
Alright, sure.
Stand up your foot when you want me to start.
Alright, just wait for them to get 6. Still waiting.
I'm gonna kill you!
Oh.
The boy would have wiped both knobs. Stop.
29 and a half seconds.
And whoever did murder the man, and I think it was the boy, still would have to run down the hall and down the stairs. At least one flight of stairs.
So now those times we can check. The one we did and the one you did. What with running down the stairs and everything, that's pretty much check out on times.
Yeah, I'm sure the old man feels the same way that everyone does here. A life sentence.
The story of the old man may well be true.
Except for the fact that he swore under oath that it was 15 seconds. He absolutely swore.
He said 15. He was very confident.
Yes, now, you're now admitting the old man lied in one case and told the truth in another. Now, I will admit, this does tend to confirm the story of the old man. However, he is now, in part, a proven liar, and this is by your own testimony. This is by your own saying.
I'm convinced now. I believe that there is no room for reasonable doubt. Alright, and
Is anyone
what
else?
about you? What do you think?
Well, I'm not sure what I think. I want to talk to more. At first I thought guilty, then I changed my mind. Now, sort of swinging back to guilty.
Alright, and what about you?
No, I am in real doubt now. Real doubt.
I say guilty. I was right the first time.
Now things are starting to make sense around here.
The vote is 9 guilty, 3 not guilty.
One more thing about the old man downstairs. How many of you live in apartments? Just put your hands, raise your hands.
I don't know what you're thinking, but I know what I'm thinking.
What's that?
I do not live in a tenement, but it is close and very dimly lit. The light bulbs are small. And this murder took place in a tenement. Remember how we stumbled on the steps?
The police officers, they were using big bulbs. One even had a flashlight, remember?
An old man who misjudged the time by 20 seconds, on this we all agree. This old man looked down the dark hallway of a tenement and recognized a running figure.
Well, he was 100% wrong about the time. On this, we all agreed.
Then could he not also be 100% wrong about who he saw?
That's the most idiotic thing I ever heard of. You must be making that up out of thin air.
We're a hung jury. Let's be honest about it.
Do you still feel there is no room for reasonable doubt?
I feel like there's no room for reasonable doubt.
Pardon me, perhaps you don't understand the term reasonable doubt.
What do you mean I don't understand the term reasonable doubt? How dare you accuse me like that? Look at this guy. He comes in here running for his life, and before he can even take a big breath, he's telling us how to run the show. The arrogance of him!
No one here is asking where anyone came from.
I was born right here.
Or where your father
With
came
the knife
from.
down.
Maybe it wouldn't hurt us to take some tips from people who come running here. Maybe they learned something that we don't know. We're not perfect.
Please, it's all right. I'm used to this. Thank you.
It's not all right.
Okay, I'm sorry, everyone. Is everyone happy now? You happy?
I guess that's what I wanted.
Alright, who has something constructive to say?
Well, something's been bothering me a little bit about the stabbing, the downward angle thing. You guys know what I'm talking about? Don't tell me what to start this one up again. They already went over in court. Thanks, Captain Obvious. Spy on Wyatt. You see, the boy is 5'8", if I remember right. 5'8".
Yeah.
The father was 6'2", if I remember correctly. Wasn't he 6'2"?
Yes.
Which would be a difference of 6 inches. It'd be very awkward if it were me to stab down into the chest of someone who was half a foot taller than them. Just saying. Well, look, if you're not satisfied to see it again, let's demonstrate. Somebody get up. All right. Now take a look at this. I don't have to do it again. This 6 inches,
That's more than 6 inches.
then let it be more.
Oh, what's the matter with you?
That's not funny.
All right, nobody's hurt, are they?
No. Thanks, sir.
All right. Now look. Take a look at this. This is your ankle. Down and in. This is how I would stab a man taller than I am in the chest. Take a look at this and tell me I'm wrong.
Down and in. I guess there's no argument.
Well, did you ever stab a man?
Of course not.
And did you?
Let's not be silly.
Oh, did you?
No.
And where do you get all your information about how it's done?
Obvious. It's common sense.
Let me ask you all something. Kid, he's been to reform school for knives, right?
That's right.
Take a look at this. Doesn't that seem like an awkward way to handle a knife?
Wait a minute. What's wrong with me? Give me that knife.
Oh, did you ever see a knife fight?
Yes, I have.
Oh, was it in the movies or?
No, in my backyard. On my stoop. In the vacant lot across the street. Too many of them. Switch knives came with the neighborhood which I lived in. It's funny that I didn't mention that before. I guess you just try to forget those things over time. Anyone who had any experience with switch knives would have never stabbed a person downward. You don't handle a switch knife that way. You use it underhand.
Well, then the kid couldn't have made the kind of wound that killed his father.
I suppose it's conceivable that he could have made the wound, but it's not likely. Not if the kid had any experience with switch knives. And we know that this kid had a lot of experience with switch knives.
Well, I don't believe it.
Neither do I. You're giving us a lot of mumbo jumbo.
What do you think?
Well, I don't know.
How about you?
I think we should just go home, honestly. Let's wrap this up. We're hung jury.
Before we decide anything further, I would like to try and pull this all together.
This should be good.
He has arrived. Let him go ahead.
Hey, buddy, you want me to time this one as well?
I'm scared him.
Good one.
Thank you.
I'm in advertising. I'm used to big shots pulling things together. Let's chip off a few shots. See if I can land on the green.
All right? Now, I want you all looking at this logically and consistently.
We have guilty.
Now, I want to know, is the kid smart or is he dumb?
What do you mean?
This is a kid who's gone to reform school for knifing someone. And on the night of murder, he went out and he bought a knife, a switch knife. It would then take a very dumb man to go and murder someone, his own father, with an instrument that everyone would associate with the kid.
Well, I agree. It's pretty dumb.
However, if he were dumb, then why would he make the kind of wound an inexperienced man would make with a knife?
I'm not sure I understand.
murder someone must take a great emotion, a great hatred. And at that moment, he would handle the knife as best he could, the way he had been trained. And that would be under him. Now, a less experienced man, he would go over him. But this kid is being very smart. See, we all know that he's an experienced knife fighter, so in that moment, he handles the knife. How an amateur, he's smart enough, maybe to wipe fingerprints away. Maybe he's even smart enough to wait until an L train is going by to cover the noise. So is he smart, or is he dumb?
The woman across the L tracks saw the murder through the last two cars of the train. Conceivably, someone on the train could have seen the murder committed.
Well, that's a possibility, but as far as we know, no one did.
Take an awfully dumb man to commit a murder as an L train's going by.
Exactly. A dumb man, a very stupid man, a man swept by emotion. Probably he heard nothing. Probably didn't even hear the L train going by. And whoever did murder his father, well, he did it as best he could.
So?
The kid is dumb enough to do everything to associate himself with a switch knife murder. Then the moment of the murder, he becomes smart. The kid is smart enough to make a kind of wound that would lead us to suspect someone else. However, he's dumb enough to do the killing right as an L train was going by. To make him guilty, you have to say he's dumb from 8 o'clock until about midnight. And about midnight, he's smart for a second. Then he's dumb for another second. Then he's smart again. Then once again, he becomes stupid. This time, so stupid that he does not think of good outcome. Is the kid smart, or is he dumb? To say that he's guilty, you have to toss his intelligence like a pancake. There is out.
I hadn't thought of that.
And the old man downstairs, on the stand, he swore to 15 seconds. He insisted on 15 seconds, but we all agree it was around 40 seconds.
Does the old man lie half the time, tell the truth the other half the time?
For this kid to be guilty, has to be stupid, smart, so on. And also, for this kid to be guilty, the old man must lie half the time and tell the truth the other half of the time. You can reasonably doubt.
I'm sold. Unreasonable doubt.
You know what? It's good. I am too. There's a reasonable doubt.
I wanted more talk, and now I've had it.
I want another vote.
Alright, another vote is called for. I guess the quickest way is a show of hands. All those voting not guilty, raise your hands. Alright, guilty? The vote is 9-3 in favor of the
I don't understand you people. How can you believe this kid is innocent? Look, you know how these people lie. I don't have to tell you. They don't know what the truth is. And let me tell you, they don't need any real reason to kill either. They get drunk and bang, somebody's lying in the gutter. Nobody's blaming them. That's how they are. Violent. Human life don't mean as much to them as it means to us. Hey, where are you going? Look, these people are drinking and fighting, and if somebody gets killed, somebody gets killed. Oh, sure, some of them are okay. Look, I'm the first to admit that, but they're the exception. Most of them, it's like they have no feelings. Where are you going? I'm trying to tell you these people are no good. There's not one. Where are you going? I'm trying to tell you.
Enough of you. If you open your mouth again, I'm going to split your skull.
Oh, I'm trying to say it.
All right, sit down, everybody.
You a child? What's wrong with you?
I still believe the boy's guilty. I'll tell you why. To me, the most damning evidence was given by the woman across the street who claimed she actually saw the murder committed.
Now, I believe that this is the most important testimony.
All right. Now, what did she say?
I believe I can recount it accurately. She said that she went to bed at about 11 o'clock that night. Her bed was next to the open window, and she could look out of the window while lying down and see directly into the window across the street. She tossed and turned for over an hour, unable to fall asleep. Finally, she turned toward the window at about 12:10, and as she looked out, she saw the boy stab his father. As far as I can see, this is unshakable testimony.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's the whole case.
Frankly, in view of this, I don't see how you can vote for acquittal. What do you think about it?
Well, maybe. There's just so much evidence to say.
What do you mean, maybe? She's right. You can throw out all the other evidence.
That was my feeling. I don't deny the validity of the points that he has made. Shall we say that on one side of the track there is doubt? But what can you say about the story of the woman across the street? She saw it.
I can't see the time. What's the time right now?
10 minutes of 6.
Thank you.
You don't suppose they let us go home and just finish this in the morning, do you? I've got a kid with mumps.
Ugh.
Not a chance.
All right. Can't you see the clock without your glasses?
Not clearly.
Glasses are a nuisance, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you do when it's in the middle of the night and you want to check the time?
I put my glasses on and I look at the clock.
I just lie in bed and wait for the clock to chime. My father gave it to me when we married, my husband and I. It was 10 years before we had a place to put it.
Do you wear your glasses to bed?
No one wears their glasses to bed. What are you talking about?
The woman on the stand wore glasses.
Did she wear glasses?
Of course, the woman wore bifocals. I remember this very clearly. They looked quite strong.
Yes, bifocals. She never took them off.
Funny. I never thought of that.
Now, I think it's reasonable to assume that the woman wouldn't have worn her glasses to bed, and that she wouldn't have put them on to casually glance out the window. She testified that she just casually looked out, and the instant she looked out, she saw the boy stab his father. A split second later, the lights went out. Now, maybe she really did think that she saw the boy stab his father, but without her wearing her glasses, I say all she saw was a blur.
What do you know what she saw when she's farsighted? How does he know all these things?
Now, is there anyone who still thinks there is not a reasonable doubt?
I will always wonder, but there is a reasonable doubt.
I think he's guilty.
Does anyone else?
No. I'm convinced now. There is a reasonable doubt.
You're alone.
The vote is 11 not guilty and 1 guilty.
I don't care if I'm alone. I have a right.
Yes, you have a right.
Well, what else do you want? I think he's guilty.
Well, we want your arguments.
I gave you my argument.
We're not convinced. You can give them again. We have time.
Look, you're the one that made out a point. You can't turn back now. A guilty man, a murderer, is going to be loose on the street. You gotta stay with me.
Sorry, I'm convinced. I don't think I'm wrong often, but I guess I was this once. There's a reasonable doubt in my mind.
We're waiting.
You're not going to intimidate me. I'm entitled to my own opinion. It's going to be a hung jury, and that's it.
There's nothing we can do about that. Except hope that some night, maybe in a few months, why, you might get some sleep.
You're all alone. It takes a great deal of courage to stand alone.
If it is a hung jury, then there will be another trial, and some of us will point these things out to the various lawyers.
All right.
say you members of the jury?